doing very well mentally. I'm very depressed. And it's been an interesting experience because this depression looks different than it has in the past. It kind of sucks because when you are used to your mental health looking a certain way and then it changes, it kind of messes with you. So I've been trying to, rest and take care of myself, but I have a feeling that this is just going to be my life for the rest of winter, which really sucks because I do really like the cold weather. So I'm trying to start off the winter by resting, doing my workouts. I'm very sad that I can't hike right now because it is cold. So I've gone back to the gym. I would love to be out in nature hiking, but I just can't because it's too damn cold. So I've been just trying to get by. I've been trying to stave off a lot of mental breakdowns that have been happening, especially around the holiday time. There's a lot of grief, and I think it's important to know that you're not alone. We all kind of struggle during this time, and if you are someone that doesn't have a family to visit, or the holidays are a very lonely time. And so if you are alone, I want you to know that I'm happy and thankful that you exist. Let's talk about some less depressing things. I have a lot of plans for the week, and by that I just mean relaxing and reading, playing video games and stuff like that. But I really just want to go into the winter months with a good-ish mindset, the best mindset that I can have. So we're gonna prepare for winter, but in not a reset kind of way. I feel like mentally I just don't have it in me to tackle the season as a new way to invent myself or any of that stuff. So this is just going to be a season of softness, of relaxation, of care. I am currently reading Ethan Frome, which honestly it's a pretty interesting read to read right now. As you can tell by the cover, it's something that I wanted to read in the fall, and now I kind of feel like it's very fitting for the winter. This basically just follows Ethan Frome, who is from his family farm. They are struggling and they're not producing. He's very poor, and he becomes obsessed with this woman who's a cousin to his wife, and she comes to take care of his wife who is sick. It's very short. I am a little over halfway through. I'm 65 pages in, and it's exactly 100 pages. It's interesting to read the patterns that this character goes through in their life, and the ways that they are trying to find happiness. It's very tense and very wintry. It's emphasis on the snow and everything being dead and quietness, and it's just a fascinating read. This was on my TBR for October, and I just never got to it, but I decided to pick it up after having marathoned the Crescent Kingdom series, which is just this silly why choose that I just read at the perfect time. It was exactly what I needed when I was really going through it. And so I marathoned the entire series. It's only 3 books, they're 200 pages each, but it's fun, fast paced. But I wanted to get a different kind of story in. I've been trying to make it my way through my physical TBR. So this is what we're currently reading. And I am still playing all of the cozy games that I talked about in my last video. I've also been watching a lot of reality TV, which again is another thing that is just very helpful when I need to shut my brain off. Okay, so I just finished Ethan Frome. The story itself was okay. And then I read the introduction, and it made me like the story a little bit more. The story itself, I think, on a first read is quite different than I think you would expect the story to be. The back purports that it's a novel of despair, forbidden emotions, and sexual undercurrents. And I wouldn't necessarily say this reads very passionately. To me, this reads of Ethan, because most of it's from all of it's from his point of view. It's third person, but reads of him being very isolated, very repressed, very much in a situation that, in a life that he didn't want for himself, in a marriage that doesn't work with him, like that he never wanted, and now this symbol of freedom has shown itself to him, and so he's become obsessed with the idea of her and getting away and this new life and what she represents to him. And the ending is very interesting. That being said, I definitely wasn't into the story until I read the introduction. I think the introduction calls to light a lot of interesting things about the author herself and the way that the novel was received when it first came out. That being said, this does call to mind the yellow wallpaper, which, incidentally, is also on my TBR, and I was going to read them together, not anticipating that they would be, comped. It's not comped, but in the introduction, it compares her to main character in the yellow wallpaper because some of the things that Edith Wharton went through in her lifetime are very similar to what's talked about in here. So I was going to read these together, and so I think because I originally was going to read them together, and now because the intro mentioned it, I feel like I have to read this. So I have read this previously. I read this in high school. Interestingly, I'm pretty sure this is also like a high school read, but I never read this, but I did read this. I think I read this in my own time because I was like an emo teenager, but I might have read this in my AP class. I'm not sure. But essentially, this is about a woman in the 1800s, and it's kind of a look at the treatment of women that were hysterical back then and how they treated women with mental health issues. Very similar to what Edith Wharton herself went through. But whereas Edith reports that it actually helped, this is very much the opposite about the repercussions of being isolated. So I think I'm going to try to read this now. The writing is quite large, and it's only 36 pages. So I remember this being tough. So we're just gonna jump right into it. So I am making a cheeky little 2 p.m. coffee because my body just wants to hibernate like a little bear during this winter season. Delightfully rainy and gloomy today, but I haven't really been able to enjoy it because of the aforementioned depression we've been talking about. So I've been watching a lot of Court with Emily D. Baker, but I decided that I wanted to pick up some Christmas. We're going to stand back here because my coffee maker is quite loud. Some Christmas romances, and I have 2 from Kindle Unlimited. One of them is by Hannah Grace, who I don't have the best history with, but I'm excited to try it nonetheless. And then the other one is from an author that I've never heard of, but I thought I would give them both a try. I'm not necessarily like a seasonal / Christmas romance enjoyer, but I just need something cozy and heartfelt, and I just need something light. So I also did pick up Goldfinch, which is the last book in the Plated Prisoner series. I have a lot of thoughts about that series. It's one of my favorite fantasy romance series of all time, but the last one was really bad. And based on the reviews, it seems like this one is also really bad. So I'm going to be alternating between reading it physically and the audiobook because I have it from Kindle Unlimited. So the audiobook was only $5, which is a delightful thing I do occasionally. So I picked it up for $5, and so I'll be bouncing between those. But I kind of thought that I could also read Wuthering Heights. I have actually read this previously, I think, while I tried to read this previously, and the way that the story is told is not exactly my favorite, at least in the portion that I started, but I thought this would be interesting. Obviously, I feel like I have to be in the mood for the kind of story this is. This is very gloomy and dark, and so I might hold off, but I do want to start this hopefully soon, and I might start it after I read my holiday romances, depending on how I'm feeling then. The Bright Side of Christmas and Holiday Ever After. Holiday Ever After is the Hannah Grace one. So those are the kind of the things that I'm interested in. And I'm also feeling a little bit of Brandon Sanderson. I want to dive into a long series. There's also the Broken Bonds series, which has a ton of books. I'm interested in that. So I just have a lot of options available to me, and I really am in like a fantasy mood. I really want to get into like a long series. We'll see. There's a lot going on with like what I want to do, and I can't make up my mind. But for the moment, I'm going to pick up one of those holiday romances. So hi friends, hopefully my space heater is not too loud. I'm just gonna cut it off. I'm at work, as you can tell. I'm not doing too well. Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit. Thankfully, I have therapy today in a couple hours. That should be good, but I'm going through it. So I don't really want to talk much about it. I don't really have much to say, but I do want to talk about what I've been reading because I've been gaming and reading to distract myself where I can. Yesterday at work was a fucking nightmare, and it just compounded with all of this stuff in my head. So, oh, and my camera is gonna die. So I read Holiday Ever After. This is about a woman who works for a big corporation. They stole a doll idea from this small town. The whole town participates in it. She is the daughter of the owner, and she wants a higher position in the company, so she takes over responsibility of smoothing things over with this town after. I'll just finish talking about it on my phone. She is charged with smoothing things over with this town after one of the people in the town films a video that goes viral about how her family company screwed over this entire town. And in an effort to win their trust, she starts doing, nice things for them, marketing for their small businesses and like stuff like that, going into the winter season, hoping that tourists will come. And then she also has a bit of a relationship with the guy who created the doll to begin with. This is a very typical, I would say, holiday romance, very Hallmark-esque. I'm not the biggest Hannah Grace fan. I don't have, the best history with her. I've liked some of her books, but I've never fallen in love with any of them. And that's kind of how I felt about this one. This is definitely, I think, the worst of the ones that I've read by her, but it's not bad. It's just very typical contemporary problem. They meet, they bang, fall in love, she makes changes in her life, whatever. So it's fine. You know, I think it's cute. It wasn't necessarily as cute as I would have liked for it to be. So I settled on a 3-star for it. In comparison, I also have been reading the other one. I'll put it right here. I don't remember what the name is. And this also has a very similar concept as far as the way that the characters work. So in the Hannah Grace one, the main male character is someone who the whole town leans on. He fixes everybody's problems, and he feels kind of responsible for making sure that everybody has a good life in this town. And in comparison, in this one, the main female character is the same way. She kind of overworks herself to spread holiday cheer because Christmas was her grandmother's favorite holiday. Her grandmother was someone that the town really relied on. And so she wants to uphold all of the traditions that her grandmother introduced in this town and make the holiday season, you know, really good. And the hero moves into the town, and has no holiday cheer. He moves into this street that has been like all lights for 50 years. It's like, you know, every house does crazy lighting. Tourists come to go through the town, but also go down the street because it's supposed to be like insane Christmas lights. He refuses to decorate his house, so they enter into a bit of like a back and forth tit for tat thing where she will put decorations on his house, he'll get revenge or whatever. I'm really liking this one. I'm liking this one a lot more than the other one. This is very fun. It's very fun. It's giggly, and we're getting both points of view, which I really love. I really love that the hero is like begrudgingly charmed by the main character, and there's one of my favorite things in a romance is when you notice the like little caretaking things that the people do for each other. And that's a huge part of this, of like the main character doesn't really do anything for herself. She's always, you know, sacrificing her own time, her own sleep, her own joy for others. And the hero is like trying to bring that back to her and like not be like show her how to take care of herself first, which I really enjoy. So really liking it. I'm gonna try to finish it probably today, and then I do want to pick up some other stuff, but I've been gaming a lot. Yesterday I spent so long playing Hello Kitty Adventure Island. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. This and Cozy Grove, which are the two that I've been playing kind of like every day. I really just do like a couple of tasks every day and then stop playing it. Specifically, Cozy Grove is made to do dailies. It's not made for long hours, which I really appreciate. And then Hello Kitty, I felt like I was a little bit stuck on some of the quests because I tend to get in like focus mode with quests where I just want to do quests all day, and then I don't expand the gameplay in other ways. And games like this tend to force you to do the whole shebang. So after I got home from work, I threw the audiobook of Holiday Ever After on and was playing that. So it is Friday morning, and we are getting some delightfully snowy / rainy / sleety weather. So I very fortunately was told by my boss that I could work from home today. So I'm home. I will say after my therapy appointment yesterday, I am feeling much, much better. At the time, the session wasn't nearly as productive as I wanted it to be. I left the session feeling a little unresolved just because I went in with a lot, and then as the day went on I realized that my mood was feeling better. And I will say that's a reoccurring thing for me in therapy, where I feel like my therapist knows the boundaries a little bit better than I do. Like, obviously that's her job, but sometimes she'll be like, okay, I think this is enough for today. And I'll kind of feel a little put off. I'll kind of feel a little bit brushed off, and I'll express that to her because I'm very open with her, and she will explain her reasoning why she thinks it's a good idea to stop where we stop. And then I always feel better afterwards. Like that initial feeling of being pushed off kind of goes away, and I realize that the amount that we addressed is good. Like I wasn't pushing myself too much, and so I am feeling much better, as you maybe can tell by the way that I'm talking and things. I like got dressed in a little outfit that you can't really see. I put some jewelry on because I wanted to feel cute, and I'm just having a good morning so far, which I'm excited for. I've been video gaming, I've been watching my reality TV, I've been reading a little bit, so I'm hoping that this weekend continues kind of in the same vein. That being said, I finished that holiday romance that we were talking about previously. I would definitely recommend this if you were looking for just a regular contemporary romance. I wouldn't say that the holiday vibes are particularly strong with this one, but I really liked the romance. There are things about this that I didn't appreciate. There are things that I didn't like, and so this was more of like a high 3-star for me, but I don't necessarily think that everybody would have the same issues. The things that I really liked in this romance are the romance itself. I really appreciated the relationship between the two. I appreciated how caring the hero was, how he was wanting to take care of the heroine because she's someone that takes care of everybody else. I think as a people pleaser myself, it's very attractive to see. It's very like sexy to see. It kind of like gives you that ache in your chest to have someone, to read someone fully taking care of someone else. It's just, it's lovely to see. The issues that I did have are third act breakup. I'm not someone that tends to like stories, like low stakes stories, but I do think that this story would have been better suited to a different type of third act breakup, something else, maybe not a third act breakup, but like some other sort of thing that needs to be resolved. And then I also had a little bit of issue with how much of the hero we got. The story definitely centered on the heroine, her insecurities, the ways that she needed someone to show up in a relationship with her, and we just got the barest hint of that with the hero. And when I read stories like these, I hearken back to Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey. That is one of my favorite romances of all time. I think it perfectly balances the hero's stuff with the heroine stuff and them trying to work together to resolve their marriage issues, and it made me want to reread that book, so at some point I might reread that as well. I think it's better than Holiday Ever After. So if you're looking for like a low-key holiday romance where the Christmassy stuff isn't too strong, maybe check this out. I would have liked a little bit more of the holidayness. Her parents run a Christmas tree farm, and we got her introducing him to her parents, but we didn't get a single scene of them doing Christmassy stuff. Obviously in the beginning they're like decorating each other's houses and pulling little pranks, but they felt like an afterthought, whereas the holiday, I think in a holiday romance, should be more centered in the story. If you just want Christmas there as like a DZYZ plot, you know, a Z plot, then maybe you'd appreciate it. But other than that, I started reading Darker by 4. I am trying very hard to finish my physical TBR by the end of the year. It's not going to happen, but this was the one that I was most interested in. I heard that this was for fans of Cassandra Clare, the Shadowhunter Chronicles, Jujutsu Kaisen, that kind of thing. I'm a huge fan of both. Hello, Jujutsu. And then also, obviously, Shadowhunters are formative books for me, so I decided to pick this up. I think this is a Chinese inspired story, and it's like demon hunters. The art for this book is just absolutely gorgeous. The main character is a demon hunter. She's at a demon hunting academy. I'm only 30 pages in. I'm not very far in. It's reading very quickly. It seems very fun. I'm really enjoying it so far. So, and then I also need to start the next book I think it's Lord of Shadows, which is the next book in the Dark Art of Crises, which I'm buddy reading with a friend. She's reading all of Cassandra Clare's books for the first time. I'm buddy reading them with her. It's been a absolutely delightful experience. Highly recommend if you have a friend that is reading your like favorite series, books, favorite books for the first time, like buddy reading with them. It's great. But I do need to start the second book. She's a little bit further ahead than I am, so I need to get into that. But I've just been so sucked into the shows that I've been watching. So I think for the rest of the morning, that's probably what I'm going to do. I would like to finish this episode that I am watching, and then we might try to clock in some reading. But like I said, I want to just have a really chill weekend. I'm surrounded by cats. It's warm, it's delightful. We might get a little bit of snow later, so altogether it's just